Hi, Year 10. Mr. Tapley here to walk through your next lesson of Year 10 Geography. So our learning today is developing our understanding of the type and location of forest environments around the world. So in previous lessons, we've talked a little bit about environments in general. Don't have enough time to cover every single environment type in the world. So the one we will be focusing on as our case study, our example, is forest environments. The reason we were doing that is because before we all went remote learning, we had an excursion planned to the Denali Ranges National Park forest environment. So that's the type of environment we'll be looking at, just to give you guys an idea of what we've looked at in previous lessons of biodiversity, ecological services, defining environments, what that looks like in a specific example, so forests. Success criteria: define, identify, and differentiate between the different forest environments located around the world. Make sure you watch through the lecture, read the slides, list activities in your digital notebook. If you have any questions, please let me know. You guys have heard that before. What you might have seen before, though, is in our stream, you can see I've added a little question and comment thread that you guys can put some comments into or some questions into every week. It just means that everything's in one location so everyone can see it, everyone access it. So if you have the same question as someone else, you might not even have to ask Mr. Steph, I might ask it before, and then the answers will be put into there, hopefully. Just another way you can communicate to Mr. Steph, or you can email me, or you can make private comments in your digital notebook. Right, so that's our lesson plan. Forest. So a forest refers to an area of land dominated by trees. These environments support a variety of animals and plants that provide invaluable ecological services. Main types of forests can be classified as either, you can see I've got a photo of one of each of these, tropical on the far, temperate in the middle, and then coniferous/boreal. The reason I've got two names there is that depending on where you are in the world, it'll be referred to as one of those two titles. So coniferous, boreal, that's the one on the right there. And how they differ, it's in terms of their climate, the rainfall they have in that type of forest, that location around the world, where are they located, and the wildlife. Obviously, the animals and plants within each of those different forests will be vastly different. So a bit of information about those types of forests. So a tropical forest, you're going to see high rainfall, very hot climate. Think, if you look at this map of the world, you can see I've got all three of those forest types located along the world. Tropical rainforest, you're looking at South America, you're looking at the Amazon rainforest, lots of rain, very hot. You can see we've got some just above Australia, up in Indonesia. You can see we've got some over there in Africa. And the main thing about these tropical forests is that they have a huge range of biodiversity in plant animal life. So a lot of the world's animal and plant found in these tropical forests. You can see in this photo on the left there, very green, very lush, lots of vegetation. Because of the rain and the climate, the sunlight that these tropical forests get, it means that lots of life can be supported in these regions. Main things you need to support life, whether it's plant or animal: water, sunlight, and vegetation for food, for a habitat. And tropical forests have that in spades. They have a lot of it. Temperate forests, which is a little middle character here. I chose that photo there because another name that you might hear for a temperate forest is a four seasons forest. Because temperate forests, like this one here, are the only forests in the world where you will see evidence of the four seasons. You will see, in summer, you've got these nice lovely green trees. In fall or autumn, you get the orange and yellow. In winter, they lose those leaves. In spring, they come back. Temperate forests are found in moderate climates between the tropics and the boreal regions in the northern and southern hemisphere. So basically, they are found not in the middle, not at the top, not at the bottom. They're just in that kind of mid-tier range. So you can see temperate ones, we're looking for that light green. So you can see some in North America, you can see some in China and Europe. And temperate forests have got a bit of variety to them. That's why they are the four-season forests, because a temperate forest could be deciduous, coniferous, mixed, or you can even have a temperate rainforest, which is what we have down here in Australia. So really the main thing you want to take away from temperate forests is that they are diverse. There's a lot of different types or subtypes of temperate forests. So tropical forests, hot and rainy. Temperate forests, they're kind of in the middle. Coniferous forests, cold. So hot, medium, cold. So coniferous or boreal forests have a very cold temperature. The world's largest land biome, as you can see by the map, the majority of these colors, this dark green we're seeing up in North America and in Mother Russia. Wildlife is being forced to adapt to harsh conditions in these boreal forests, so you're going to see very unique wildlife that you wouldn't see anywhere else in the world, because the plants and the animals that are living in these forests have to adapt to very, very harsh weather, limited rain, and so it's going to vary in terms of the animal and plant life you see in these cold forests. Forest structure. I was quite proud of this GIF. That's my second GIF I've added to the PowerPoint, or third one. Anyway, a typical forest is comprised of an overstory and an understory. So I've got a little diagram down here, as you can see. What we're doing here is we're breaking down the different layers of the forest. So think of these understories and these overstories as different layers or levels in a forest, or you're slicing through a cake. So the upper tree layer, the overstory, or the canopy, is where you find the tree crowns or peaks. So you can see here I've got these emergent trees that are popping up through the top. The canopy is where I'm looking though. So that's where the majority of these trees, their crown or their peak, so the tippy top of those trees, is going to be found in the overstory. At this layer, branches and leaves spread out to capture light. The lower layer, the understory, is occupied by smaller plants. You've got some shrubs as well. Dead foliage, dead plant life will fall from the upper layer to the forest floor, and that will feed new plant and wildlife. So when you're thinking of forests, and I say things like overstory and understory, just think of this little diagram here. Basically, why this diagram is important, why it's important to understand the different layers of forest, is because you will find different types of life, different types of biodiversity within these different layers. Obviously, you're not going to find many birds living on the forest floor. Obviously, you're not going to find many plants that require a lot of sunlight to survive in the understory, because all the sunlight is getting stuck up there at the top there. So if I look at my rainforest, that's the canopy, that's the overstory. So all the sunlight's being absorbed by these big broadleaf trees. So these poor little trees and shrubs at the bottom, at the forest floor, are getting enough sunlight, which is why in rainforests you're going to see very, very tall trees, because they're reaching all the way up to get that sunlight. So we know about forests, we know the types of forests, we know where they are, what they are, layers, etc. Let's talk about a lack of forests. Let's talk about deforestation, so human impact. So around the world, forests are cleared, they are degraded, so they are made crappier quality, and they are fragmented, so they are split up by human activities. Deforestation for agriculture, so farming, construction, manufacturing, has devastated forest environments around the world. The loss of forest environments has global consequences. When you see the Amazon burning, when you see forests being cleared in North America, and you think, that's far away from me. Nah, it's connected. Interconnection, geography, everything's connected. Forest deforestation has global consequences. It's the main cause of biodiversity loss, and we've looked at why biodiversity loss is important. It negatively impacts air and soil quality. Air is important. You breathe air. Ask your science teacher. They will confirm it. Soil quality. Some people think of it's just dirt. Yeah, but you grow food in that dirt, in that soil. So if the soil's crap, you're not getting fed, mate. Contributes to climate change. Obviously, these little trees here are very helpful because they are absorbing carbon dioxide. They're producing oxygen. And if we lose forests, we are making ourselves more vulnerable to extreme weather. So if I have a lovely hill or a mountain and it's covered in trees, when rain pours down that mountain, the trees, those roots, are going to absorb water because they're thirsty, they need to grow. And that means by the time the water gets down to the village, city at the bottom, no problem. But if I get rid of all those trees, rain pours down that mountain, that hill, by the time it gets to the bottom of the hill, where the people are, where the settlements are, it's going to cause a massive flood. The effects of deforestation will importantly impact our present, but also our future. So some of these effects aren't really seen yet. That's why people have an issue understanding these things like climate change. I don't see it until I don't believe it until I can see it in front of me. The issue with climate change, the issue with deforestation, is that you can't really see what's happening until it's too late, which is why we're teaching you now in year 10, as opposed to when you're like 50 years old. Anyway, so that's a bit of background information on the first type of environment that we're going to be looking at in great detail. Listen activities. It's just a couple of questions where I want you guys to be looking at some maps, some graphs, some tables, geography, etc. So I'll walk you through these nice and quickly and then throw the answers into your digital notebook, please. So, using our world map, identify the type of forests found in Australia, USA, Brazil, China, Indonesia, India, and Madagascar. Not the film, but the country. Question 2. Looking at these graphs below us, you can see we've got tropical, temperate, and then a cold, or a boreal or coniferous. Again, lots of names for that type of forest, I apologize. You've got your 3 types of forests there. Graphs showing the temperature, which is in red. So this red line here, you can see mean monthly temperature, the red line. And then the blue data is mean monthly precipitation, so rainfall. Looking at these graphs here, identify the forest type with the smallest change in temperature throughout the year. So not the hottest or the coldest, just the one that does not change throughout the year. 3, identify the type of forest with the largest range in rainfall levels year-round. So again, not just the biggest or the smallest, but the one that shows the biggest change, biggest range. So it's going up and down, up and down. Question 4, what forest type could adapt to changes in temperature and rainfall caused by climate change? That one is a bit of a tricky question that I threw in there, just because I don't like y'all. What you're thinking at for question 4, think about, all right, which one of these forests is showing a lot of different rainfall and temperature? So climate change is obviously going to impact the temperature and the rainfall around these different types of forests. Which one do you think will survive most with change? Which one seems to be best suited to a change in temperature and rainfall? Then last page here, last couple of questions. You've got a table here, if you move my giant head, that shows total forest cover, so how much forests we have in these different countries, these different regions, I should say, and then how it's changed over time, so 1990, 2000, 2010. Question 5, what region or regions show the greatest forest loss from 1990 to 2010? What regions show the greatest increase? It's question 6. And then question 7, again, I've asked you to do a bit more thinking. What could have caused forest coverage to increase and decrease in these regions? So decrease is easy, because you're thinking, what have I just looked at? Deforestation. Be a bit more specific than that. What causes deforestation? Why do we cut down forests? I want you guys to have a think about what could have caused forest coverage to increase. Why would we be actively stopping deforestation? Why would we be adding more trees? What do you think those countries or those regions are doing? Why are they doing it? So that's the last thing you need to do for this lesson, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know. I got some interesting feedback, some good feedback, I should say, last week when we had a little Our Planets video lesson, and then we had the self-care lesson. So I know you all are working hard, and a lot of people said, yeah, that was a good, little optimism out there, just kind of de-stress a bit, because I understand it's stressful. So try and smash in another one of those lessons. Probably once a week. I'll have not necessarily a free lesson where you just kind of sit around and listen to music, but one lesson where you're not sitting, reading a lot of textbooks or watching a lot of videos, such as myself. One lesson where you can kind of catch up on work that you haven't really gotten a good handle on. But yeah, if you guys are interested in having one of those kind of chill review sessions or catch-up sessions or de-stress sessions every week, please let me know. I think it'd be really valuable. If you have questions, email me, comment, hit the bell, like, subscribe, etc. All right. Cheers, guys.